Now I've covered quite a lot of different tools that allow you to customize and update and make the admin dashboard of WordPress a lot more useful. Today, we're going to encapsulate this for a quick overview of the tools that I would recommend you taking a look at. Some of these are free, some have premium versions, and all of them should help you create a more customized user experience for your dashboard. So let's start off with the first one I want to cover in this video. So the first one we can take a look at is Admin and Site Enhancements, or ASE. Now there's a free version and a pro or premium version, and if you want to find out more about this, I'll link to the video I released on this quite recently so you can take a little bit more detailed look at it. But what it basically does is allows you to customize the dashboard in various different ways. It does a lot more than that, but fundamentally we can customize the experience. Let's take a quick look at some of the options and how easy it is to customize things. So let's kick this off with just taking a look at the free version of the plugin. So once you've got it installed, simply go to the Tools section and come into Enhancements. Now things are broken down into various different sections on the left-hand side. We're going to concentrate on the admin interface so you can see what we can do inside there. But there are tons of features and options that allow you to get rid of lots and lots of little plugins. But if we come to the admin interface, for example, you can see we can do various things. And as you can see, I've already started to tweak things inside here to streamline things. But for example, we can clean up the admin bar. If we expand this, we can choose what we do and don't want to see inside here. So you may want to remove things like the logo, remove customize menu, and so on. So if you're handing this off to a client, or you just want to get rid of things once things are set up, you're not going to go back and look at them, this is a great way of being able to handle that side of things. The same thing goes with admin notices. You can clean up all those annoying nag screens and so on, get rid of a ton of things there. And the dashboard widgets. For example, if we take a look at the dashboard, you'll see I don't have any widgets laid out inside here. Now you can also do things like hiding the admin bar. So if you don't want that bar at the top of the screen for everybody other than admin, for example, you can do that here. Simply enable it, expand, and then you can choose who can and can't see that admin bar. We can set up things like the wider admin menu down the left hand side. So if you're working on bigger screens or you have longer entries, you can customize this and you can see it's easy to choose one of the options. Boom. And there we go. Once we hit save changes, we now get a wider section on the left hand side. And the admin menu organizer. So this is where we can customize exactly what you can see down the left hand side. And this is quite a nice way of doing things. You can reorder things should you want to. You can also hide until toggled. You can choose that option. And depending upon if you're using the free or the premium version, you have more options available. For the free version, you can just simply hide or show them. And then we've got things like enhanced list tables. This is pretty cool. So for example, when you take a look at your posts or pages, we can set things up to show more information inside here. Things like the featured image, which is incredibly useful. You can also do things like you can customize what is and isn't seen. But you can see we can customize this. We can reorder things. You can do a lot of different cool things inside here to make this a more usable space. Now, while this is relatively simplistic, there should be more than enough inside here for most use cases. And you can see we can show and hide various different things inside here using this enhanced list tables. Now, if you want to do things like customize the login and logout section, you can do that from here as well. So you can change things like the login URL. Adds a little bit of security because you're not using WP-admin. Don't think of it as being secure, but it makes it a little bit more difficult to find for a lot of use cases. You can change the identity on the login page. You can set things up like login, logout menu. So you can customize and make things a little bit more user-friendly. You can even set things up like to redirect after login or logout. So for example, if we enable this and expand it, we can choose where people get logged out to or logged into, and we can set up what levels we want for that particular user role. So contributors, editors, and so on. Pretty cool. And again, the same thing for redirect after logout. We can do exactly the same thing there. So you can streamline the whole logging in and logging out for any users that you want. So you can see we can customize various aspects using the free version. Now the pro version gives us even more. So let's take a quick look at some of the additional options we have there. So now we have the pro version installed. You'll see we get some more options. Now, like I say, there's a lot to like about the free version, and you don't necessarily need the pro version if you want to kind of just keep things relatively simple and low cost. But you can see by activating the pro, we have some extra options. For example, to clean up the admin menu or the admin bar, we can get rid of notices, we can get rid of the site name. So we can save our changes, and we get rid of all the junk at the top there. The admin menu organizer, for example, you can see we now have more options available to us. So for example, if we open up the dashboard, we can choose just to simply hide it, or we can open the options and say hide until toggled, or always hide for user role or roles. If we enable that, we can choose what roles we want for every role, for all roles except for, or we could say selected roles. It's up to you how you want to handle it. So you can get more granular with this for how you show various different aspects of your navigation structure. So again, pretty cool if you want to get in and have more control over everything. Your admin columns manager, we can open this up and you can see we can manage and organize columns in the admin listing for pages, posts, and custom post types. So we now have more control over those. So again, let's save our changes. And now you can see if we come into the posts, for example, or pages or things like that, we'll have a new option called Manage Columns. We can select this from here and we can go and customize more options inside here for how we want to display the data. Now, this isn't as powerful as another option I'm going to show you a little later, which has a free and a premium version. But because this is all contained inside the one plugin, it does allow you to customize things quickly and easily and get the basics done for what you need. It's not competing with those other tools. It just gives you a simplistic way of being able to do some basic things. So pretty cool. But like I say, there's a lot to like about the free version, and there's even more options in the pro or premium version. Like I say, I'll link to the description to the video that I released on this quite recently, so you can take a look in more detail for yourself. Anyway, on to the next option. Now, before we move on, here's a quick message from today's video sponsor, UIPress. Now, as a paying customer of UIPress for over 4 years, here are some of the tools and features that make my SEO life effortless. Now, UIPress Pro helps you harness the power of OpenAI by making it incredibly easy to instantly generate relevant titles and meta descriptions for your posts and pages. You can use them as they are or refine them for perfection for your SEO needs. Now, you can stay informed and in control by seamlessly tracking your website's performance by integrating the Google Search Console within your WordPress dashboard. Now, you also want to discover the efficiency of the universal SEO meta box, perfectly integrating with all major WordPress page builders, including the native Gutenberg. And if you're tied to another SEO plugin, there's no worries. UIPress ensures a swift and smooth migration of your settings to switch over in seconds. Dive into UIPress today, where powerful SEO becomes elegantly effortless. Next up, if you want to completely change the whole look and feel of the dashboard of WordPress, WP Adminify is an option you can choose to use. Now, there are two versions of this. There's the free version, which you can access and use yourself with no payment, or there's the pro or premium version. So first of all, like we did before, let's take a quick look at the free version and see how that works. So you'll see once you install it, there's a massive difference in what the dashboard looks like. You can see it's completely changed the look and feel of it, and you can switch between a light and a dark mode. Now, the first thing for me that I really don't like about this, which is kind of weird, is the choice of the bright blue on the dark background. It makes it incredibly difficult to see. Just a little nitpick, and I'm sure you can tweak it, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Let's switch back to the light mode because it's a little easier on the eyes. Now, you'll see on the left-hand side, there's an awful lot of options here. And also, if we take a look inside the modules, we can enable or disable various different functions. And this goes beyond just visually changing the whole dashboard. This adds in extra features like folders and so on to organize and customize the layout and structure of your data inside your media library and so on. Also with post types, so you can organize things. For example, if we take a look at our media library, you'll see we now get a slightly different experience. We can create folders inside here. We can assign colors to them and save our folder. And then we can simply drag our images or our media over into those folders to start organizing things. So you can see, drop that inside there, open up the media library, and we've got that in there. Coming down to all, we can say we want to bulk select, so we can select both of these and we can add these to something else. You can delete them, you can go in and you can organize how you want to filter things, A to Z and so on. So you've got some media management inside here, which is quite useful if you don't want to use, again, another plugin, but we will take a look at an option a little later. So that's pretty cool. If you want to customize things like your login, your admin columns, your dashboard and welcome widgets, all those options are here for you. So you can easily enable and disable anything inside here. So if you want to disable this function, disable it, hit save, and you won't have that as an option down the left-hand side. Disable it, enable it, whatever you want to do. So taking a look down the left-hand side, you can see there's an awful lot of options here. If we come into customize, we can change the look of how this all lays out. And you can see we've got a range of pre-designed color schemes and so on. So you can choose one of those. And unfortunately, this is kind of locked into the pro version. So we'll take a look at the pro version a little later. But you can change some of the elements inside here. Want to change your logo? You can change that here as well. And different ones for your light and your dark mode. Logo type was image and text, sizes and so on. Admin footer, you can customize this if you want to. So if you're handing this off to a client, you can easily sort of customize the notification that's in there. Your menu settings, so you can see we can customize the menu, the styles. And there's a lot of options you can customize and tweak for the look and the feel of everything inside here. You don't want to do that on every single site, so what you can do is you can set things up inside here, you can use the backup option, and then you could export this, download it, and then you could upload it to a new clean install of WP Adminify, and all those settings and those changes will take place for you. So there's a quick way of doing that kind of thing. But as you can see, there's an awful lot in here to customize the look and the feel. There's quite a lot of it is locked behind the Pro version. So let's take a quick look at the Pro version enabled, where we get rid of all those nags. So you'll see now that I've got the Pro version or the premium version enabled, and I've already come in and customized the look of this by using one of the predefined layout colors. And you can see we can choose any of these if you want a kind of quick starting point, or just go with the vanilla kind of gray look. But you'll notice that basically everything now has got rid of the nag screens, and we have access to all of the features. So you can easily see what is and isn't available in the free version, the Pro version, and then you can decide whether you want to upgrade to Pro. For me, WP Adminify is a interesting way of customizing things, but it goes too far for my liking. Personally, I don't use this. I've bought it. I've got a lifetime license for several different licenses of this, but I kind of find it's just too much that's been updated. I like a little bit more control myself. But you may like this kind of one-click, activate, set everything up, change the look of it, and have all these extra features, but test it out for yourself and see what you think. Next on the agenda is white label CMS. This is a totally free option. There's no, that I understand anyway, premium version of this available. And I've used this several times in the past, and it's grown into quite a comprehensive set of tools. Let's take a quick look at what options we have once it's installed. So as you've got it installed, you'll see that this is the dashboard that's available underneath the settings, white label CMS. It's very, very simple. It's not as nice a sort of system to use as some of the other options we've seen. But again, it is one of those things that once you've set things up, you're probably never going to come back in here and tweak things anyway. But what can you do? Well, you can easily come in and choose things like to hide the WordPress logo and links and the version number and so on. And if you want to put a custom page title, you can do things like that. Hit the save. And then anywhere you've made tweaks, any information you've added in will then become available inside you. And you see things are broken down. The first section is kind of your branding. So you want to put in an admin logo. So if you want to brand this up to either your client, or if you were selling this as a kind of white label-ish kind of setup, you may want to put your own logo inside there. Well, you can do that. The same goes things like the admin bar alt text. You can replace the howdy up at the top. So for example, like that, you want to change the admin bar URL, so replace the link to wordpress.org, so you want to send this to somewhere else, obviously to your own site or so on. You can do all those kinds of things. So again, let's hit save, and you can see that updates at the top. So it's very easy. You want your side menu branding, so this is the section down the left-hand side. Your Gutenberg branding, you can choose what the icon does, whether it's just an exit icon, the admin bar logo, or a custom icon, which is pretty cool. So you want to put a custom logo icon in there, again, brand this up for your own client or for your own work, you could do that here. And the same thing goes for your footer branding. So you can change exactly what's seen down in the bottom, even though we've disabled it in this example, but you can customize that and put what you want inside there. Coming into the login section, you can see we can customize the login to get a little bit more branding inside here. So again, you might want to change the logo to your client's logo or your logo. You can do that. And you can set it up inside here for the standard logo and the retina for those Mac users. Or put a background image in, all those kinds of things. So you can customize various different aspects of your login. And you see we also have a live preview section underneath. So when we start to make changes to this, you can see exactly how this is all set up. Just click on the live preview and we'll get an updated preview of what our dashboard or our login to our dashboard actually look like. Now moving on from there, you can see we have some advanced options. So if you want to get rid of things like register and lost password and your back to and so on, all those kinds of things you're used to seeing as part of the login experience, where you can customize and remove those things. You can customize the link colors and so on, and you can even drop in some custom JavaScript if you want to, and the same thing goes for custom CSS. So if you wanted to, you could totally customize this by using any kind of CSS and JavaScript to get a more unique experience. Coming to the dashboard, again, you can see we can change things like the icons, we can select what roles have been hidden and so on, and we can set things up like what panels will and won't be shown. So we can hide all the dashboard panels, or you can leave things like activity or the welcome and things like that could be left enabled. But if you remove all these, you can create your own custom dashboards. Now you can use either Elementor or you can use a Beaver Builder. So you have a couple of options. It would be nice to see this expanded, but you can say we can create our own custom dashboard. You can use basic HTML if you want to, or you can create a page inside here. So there's various options that we can use to customize this. But you see Elementor and Beaver Builder are options that are available. Do you want to make it dismissible? Do you want to add a second panel? So you can customize that login experience, have a welcome, have information about videos on tutorials, contact forms, those types of things. Pretty cool. And if you want to add your own RSS panel, you can do that from here as well. Customizing the menus, you can see, do you want to hide the menus for your client? Well, in most cases, you probably will want to hide various aspects. And you can see we then have the menus and the admin bar menus, and we can expand these out and choose what inside any of those kind of parent menus we do or don't want them to see. So for example, we may want to completely disable comments, disable appearance, disable users and tools. We can do that and we can hit save. And then because we're an admin, we'll still see everything, but anybody else there, when they log in, will only see the options that we've set up for them to see. Same thing goes for the admin bar menu at the top. So you can see where we've got new one, for example. We can choose what's inside there. So we may want to disable the ability to add new users and pages, for example. You hit again, save, and then we'll customize that top bar for the relevant user role. So pretty cool. And then finally, you've got your settings. So you don't want to hide the front end admin bar. So again, that bar across the top, you can hide that if you want to. And you can customize the admin settings as well. So get rid of the help, the on-screen options and so on, and get rid of any nag messages. And again, we can customize the CSS inside here. So if you've got little tweaks you want to make that's not controlled by this plugin, you can do it via the CSS options. And if you want to, you can use a custom style sheet URL as well. So you might want to have somewhere you share. You've got options inside here. But that basically is the options you have inside White Label CMS. It's a totally free option. It does a lot of what you'd need, and for most use cases, it's probably more than enough to do the job. Next on our list is UIPress Lite, which is very similar to what you've seen with WP Adminify, but it does go even further. Now, there's a free and a premium version of this. Now, I don't have the premium version. I have tested it in the past, but you'll kind of see in the same way as we've seen with WP Adminify, all the options that are pro options will be kind of shown inside there that you need to upgrade. So at least you got to get a feel for things. So I'm going to show you what the free version or the light version actually looks like. And in my opinion, it looks pretty good. So you can see we've already got a much fresher look. I've run through the simple wizard that allows you to customize and tweak this and add in logos and so on. Again, basically just run through it super quickly. But as you can see, it already looks a more modern and fresh experience. We can, if we want to, come over into our little profile and switch this into dark mode. So if you prefer dark mode, you have access to it. You can enable or disable it from here. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now, if we come into the settings, you can see we've got UI Builder and UI Settings. Now, UI Settings is where you can customize and tweak everything inside you. You've got a little wizard that takes you through and shows you some of the options. Let's close that down for now. But you can see over on the right-hand side, we've got all these different settings options. So, for example, if we come into General, you can see we can add our site logo for both light and dark. Do you want to remove things like jQuery, migrate and so on? Probably a little bit more techy for your developer kind of people. Plugins, you can see we can add plugin status. Our media, you can see, do we want to have private library? This is a pro option, so you can see what I'm talking about. It tells you what options are there and then tells you it's a pro. And you can see exactly what that option does. Your posts and pages, for example, you can see we can add post ID to table like we saw earlier on. You can display last modified, sticky headers, and so on. You can customize the login and again, add your own login kind of logo, alignment, the theme, whether you want to enable or disable that. And there's a bunch of options to kind of go to the next level that are pro options. And if you come into the theme, you can see we can customize the theme inside just so your colors. Nice thing is it's all using variables as well, which is great to see, CSS variables. Your units, you can see text. If there's options inside there, if not, you can click to add your own in and you can see you can customize things. So you can get really deep into the customization with this. If you want to white label this, that is basically a pro feature. And come into advanced, for example, you can see there's some options we have available, but most of them are locked behind that kind of pro option. But there are things like including styles and scripts and so on. So these should help speed things up. But if you come into the UI Builder, this is beyond what I want to cover. You can create your own custom templates. You can see we've got one which we're currently using, which is the admin theme. And if you come in and take a look at it, you can see there's all the options. So you could customize this and go way beyond what most of the other tools, all the tools that I cover in this video. So if you like the ability to really get in and customize every aspect, this may be something worth checking out. But for me, I just like the one-click access where we can customize the look and feel, and we don't have to get into customizing all of this, but it's there should you want to. And you see we've got blocks, we've got layers, and we've got the library. So we've got some UI templates, so you can choose different UI templates from here. So you can select one of these, download it, customize it, tweak it, do what you want with it. Pretty cool, pretty advanced, pretty powerful. So you may want to check out UIPress if you want to kind of really get in there and customize so many aspects of the overall dashboard experience. Next on the agenda is WP Admin Cleaner. Again, I've created a video dedicated to this. I'll link that in the description down below so you can check it out in more detail. But basically, this allows us to customize the dashboard and also allows us to use the native Gutenberg template functions to create customized dashboard pages, which in itself is pretty cool because most other ones that I've tested don't really support that straight out of the box. So it's good to see we can do that. But let's take a quick look at some of the options available. So once you've installed the plugin and logged in, you'll see underneath the tools, we've got WP Admin Cleaner. And then on the left-hand side, we've got a range of different options that we can go through and configure things to customize the dashboard. So for example, you can see our menu order allows us to do, as its name suggests, reorder the menu. So for example, we may say we want to have posts, pages, and then media. Well, we can just simply do that and we can just save our changes. And you'll see now on the left-hand side, posts, pages, and media. Pretty simple thing to do, but it's quite useful. You can also hide or show various different things based upon user roles and user names. So that's pretty cool. So for example, you can see we've got the option to hide or show the top bar and exactly what is or isn't available inside there. So you may want to show or hide the entire thing, where you can do that, or you can simply come in and choose various different features inside here. So about WordPress, for example, get involved. You kind of get the kind of picture. It's quite granular. The same thing goes then for the left bar. So all the options down the left-hand side, you may want to sort of restrict access to dynamic shortcodes, to comments, to tools, for example, or ACF, generate blocks, and so on. Hit save changes once you've set that up, and then they will all disappear from the left-hand side. Or if you want to get really granular, you can see you can choose exactly what is and isn't available inside any of those subsections. So that's pretty cool. You can also come in and choose to hide per role. So you can see we can set things up inside here for admins, editors. If you create your own custom user roles, or you have things like WooCommerce installed that creates new user roles, you can access those here as well. So for example, we can choose the editor, and then once we've done that, we can choose exactly what they can and can't see and access. If you come into roles, you can see we can assign a super admin role. Now, by default, we're just generally admins when you create an account, but you can assign different access roles to super admins and then still give your client admin access, but limited access based upon that admin user role. So you can see we can set things up and we can choose a specific user to apply the admin or super admin role to. So that's pretty cool. You want to hide your plugins, you can choose what plugins they can and can't see. So if you've got specific plugins in here you don't want them to know about or to be able to touch, and you want to manually control those, but give them access to other ones, you grant the control over that as well. Your admin login page, you can see we can customize the look and feel of our admin login, and you can see there's a couple of predefined templates we can choose from. This would be nice if we did have a live preview to see exactly what's going on as we're making these changes, but if you want quick, down and dirty changes, you could do that here. And you can also set up your login page to enable admin login settings to set up custom login for the login page and also for any kind of URL you want to redirect them to. You can do user redirection after login. This is super useful if you have a front-end dashboard you want to give sort of like users access to and not have them log into the normal WordPress dashboard, where you can simply access this, set where you want them to go, and you can choose to hide the top bar as well so they won't get access to that and accidentally find their way into the bits and pieces you don't want them to see. Create a custom dashboard, where you can do that inside here. You just create a template and then you simply put the link to that template, and you can see you can set different ones up for different user roles. Again, a really useful way of customizing your dashboard. When you use dark theme, well, you can use dark theme inside the admin, inside Gutenberg optimized with Oxygen if you're an Oxygen user, or you can inject custom CSS. So you can see you can inject your own custom code inside here and tweak everything. Like I say, this is not as advanced as some of the other options you've seen, but you don't always need advanced. It's a pretty simplistic kind of setup, pretty simplistic tool, but the ability to create your custom dashboard homepage using Gutenberg, in my opinion, is probably the biggest selling point of this particular plugin. But there's lots of free options and paid options out there that I've covered in this video. But before we go any further, I've got a couple more tools that I want to show you that don't change the overall look and feel of your dashboard, but they do open up a ton of extra possibilities to make it more user-friendly and useful. So the first of these we're going to take a look at is admin columns. Now there's a pro version, but we're only going to use the free version in this example. So once you've installed it, you'll find you have a new option in any of your sections. For example, your posts, your pages, those kinds of places. you get this little edit columns cog. Let's click on that, and that will take us into admin columns. Now, generally, there's a lot of useless information that most of us don't care about when it comes to your pages, your posts, and so on. There's also things that are missing that would make life a lot easier, things like featured image and things like that. Well, this allows us to easily customize things. And even if you're using advanced custom fields, there are still some of the things you can use inside here that allow you to access and show that data. If you want me to cover the free version in more detail, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll create a video for you. But let's take a quick look. So this is our posts. We can switch between posts, pages, comments, and anywhere we can actually customize things inside here from this little drop down. We'll stick to posts for now. So you can see this now shows us all of the columns for our posts list. Now, for example, I'm not using comments on this website, so I don't need that. So let's go ahead and remove it. Tags, don't use them, remove it. Author, I'm the only person on this website, so I don't need it. Let's remove it. We'll save, and we'll view. And we've now got rid of all that excess junk we didn't need. But we can still go further. Let's come back to edit columns, and let's go and add a new column in. So what exactly do we want to add in? Well, let's start off with our featured image just so we can see that. So we'll change this from actions, and we'll scroll through the huge amount of options we have available, and we'll choose featured image. You can see that puts a label at the top, allows us to choose a width and a custom size and the size of the actual image that we want. So let's set this to be 100 pixels by 100 pixels. It's a little bit bigger. And let's just move this up so it's the first item in our structure. And there we go. We'll update this, click on view, and now we have our featured image. Now it's the same image across here because this is just filler content that's been added in. So that's already pretty useful, but we can go even further. Let's say we want to have a nice simple set of icons that allow us to do things like edit, update, delete, and so on, as opposed to that kind of hover effect, which if you're not a WordPress user, you may not even see. Well, let's add another column in. We'll set actions and the actions as label. Do we want to use icons? We'll say yes, we do, and we'll click update. Simple as that. We'll view, and now we have these icons that allow us to do edit, to go ahead and add new content, delete it, or preview it. Nothing we haven't already seen by hovering over, but this just makes it a little bit more intuitive for the end user. And you can go so much further with this. There's loads and loads of different columns you can add in. So you can see actions, you've got titles, you've got custom fields, you've got ordering, slugs, word count, and so on. So there's tons of things you can do inside here. The pro version adds even more, but I think for most use cases, the free version of admin columns is more than enough to get the job done. The final on the list is Happy Files. Now, Happy Files allows you to organize not only your files, as the name would suggest, but also your posts, your pages, and everything else. So if you like a more structured way of laying things out, using folders to organize all your work like you would on a Mac or a PC, you can use this to do it. I'm only going to show you how to do it with the file side of things, with the media, but the whole setup is exactly the same. Now, the nice thing is there's a free and a pro version. I used the pro version of this, and in my opinion, it's worth every single penny because it's just so quick and easy to work with. But let's take a look at what it offers. So I'm logged into one of my sites, and you'll see that we're in the media library, and this already looks a lot different. Down the left-hand side, you can see we've got these folders. Some of these folders have subfolders inside them. So for example, we open up the video thumbnails. You can see I've got 2022 and 2023. If we open up written content, for example, you'll see I've got 2023 inside there. And if I click to open that up again, you'll see we've got additional folders inside there. So if we click to open this ACF options, all the images are located inside there. If we want to see all our files, we can click to view all of our files and everything is listed. And we can switch between the various different preview views that we have. So if you like this version, you can use it like that. And then all we need to do is create a folder by clicking on the plus at the top. You can create your folder and then you just drag and drop exactly what you want into whatever folder. For example, let's create a new folder. We'll call this test. There's our test folder, and we'll say we want this image, and we'll drop that into the test folder. And now inside the test folder is our one image. Now this is totally non-destructive, which basically means that all these folders in this structure is doing nothing to the actual database and the file structure on your server. It's only doing it inside the actual admin section of your website. So it means that if you remove the plugins, you don't want to use it, you want to try something else, it will have no impact upon your files. You'll have no dead links, nothing at all. So you can can try this and see exactly if you get on with it. And if you do, you can use it. If you don't, you can uninstall it and there's no problem at all. That's really quite basic. There's options to multi-select. You can expand all your folders. You can sort things. You can preview details. You can see there's all the different folder names. You can even use the folder of images, for example, like this one. And you can select all these and you can create a gallery from here. So it's pretty cool to see you can do that. But there's a ton of options. And like I say, you're not limited to only using this as for your media library. You can use this with your content as well to organize and structure things. And that's a key selection of different tools and plugins to go from really simple changes for your admin dashboard right the way up to complete redesign, adding more functionality in and so much more. But this should give you all the information you need to hit the ground running and start creating your own custom dashboard, or at least modifying things to make them a little bit more user-friendly. But as always, if you've got any comments, questions, or feedback, or you've got tools that you use and love, drop information in the comment section down below. As always, all applicable links are in the description. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.